All right, here's where the book is based on, okay? I stroll along a vineyard path, and there I see the grapes of math. Overhead, the sun is blazing. Soon each grape will be a raisin. How many grapes are on the vine? Counting each takes too much time. Never fear, I have a hunch. There is a match for every bunch. How many grapes are there? Show me your strategy. You can do it on the same piece of paper, just down below. Show me your strategy. How many grapes are there? Can you come up first? You can see here that I'm walking around to see what strategy students are writing on their paper, and I'm also formatively assessing to see which ones I will use as the easiest to showcase versus the hardest or the most complicated strategy to showcase. And you will notice that I am basically asking the students if they would like to be first, second, third, and so forth. This is important because some students may not feel comfortable coming up to share, so you will need to find someone else to put within that scaffolding. In some cases, you will not really understand a student's strategy when you look at it, so it's important to ask them open-ended questions to find out what their strategy is exactly, and they may have to add more so that when they do present it to the class, everyone understands their strategy. Okay, so who was first? Come on up. Sophia, do you want to just, yeah. All right. If you want, you can show it on the book first. All right, so Sophia, what did you figure out?
So I read the last sentence that there's a match for every bunch, and then I counted the amount of bunches for each, and there's an equal number, and I looked at the blue bunches, and I seen that there's 7 in those, and the green bunches, and that there's 3 in those, and that 7 and 3 make 10. And so when I was counting them out, I kind of like matched them up and then counted how many pairings there were, and I know that there's 10 in total, and there's 5 pairings, so 5 times 10.
Or you could count by tens, right? Skip count by tens. So you got 50. Nice. In Sophia's strategy, you notice that she had multiplication on her paper, but I didn't focus on that because I wanted to focus on the fact that she knew to combine to make a 10 for a group of 7 and a group of 3, and there were 5 bunches of 10 where I focused on counting by tens. Even though she had multiplication, that is not what I wanted to focus on with her particular strategy. Who was second? Come on up.
So similar to Sophia, I also looked at there is a match for every bunch. And I realized that the bunch was like between the green ones and the blue ones. And if you count them, there's 10 altogether if you pair them. So then I did 7 plus 3 equals 10. And then there's 5 matches, so like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then I multiplied 10 times 5, which equals 50.
Nice. So you use multiplication. Good. Do you see how I scaffold that? Okay. So Sophia did the same thing, but she skip counted, right? She looked and she's like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. But you actually showed multiplication and putting together the number sentence 7 plus 3. So do you see the difference between Sophia and what this student's doing? Okay, do you see the difference? One's able to show it with a picture and one shows with number sentences. Okay, so Marcelina, what does she know? Multiplication, what else? And how to write a number sentence. Good, excellent. Who is third? Thank you.
So I also did multiplication. So there's 5 groups of grapes that have 3 in them. Okay. And then there's also 5 groups of grapes that have 7 in them. And then I added those totals together.
So you know if you say 5, the same number, 5 groups of 3, which would be multiplication, and how did you get 5 times, how did you get this total?
5.
Did you count by 5s? Did you draw them out?
Yeah, I did 5 times each group of
3. Okay, so you count it by fives, 5, 10, 15, and then 5 times. So what's great about this is that how many of you know how to count by fives? Do your students know how to count by fives? Yeah, it's one of the first things they learn. So this makes it very easy for them to get there. Great. Okay, I was looking for one more. Can you come up for me? All right. So I want you to notice this, and I want you to see if you can see what property they're using to figure out how many grapes there are. So tell us what you did.
So I kind of did what Ashley did last time, where I saw that there were 5 groups of 7 and then 5 groups of 3. So I just wrote 7 times 5 and then 3 times 5, and then did the math for each of those. So it was 35 plus 15, which is 50.
What do you notice with the strategy? You can tell me. What do you notice? Asking students what they notice is very important because you want to highlight what they know, not what you tell them. So I'm hoping that students see that this is using a particular property, and even simpler is, do they notice the parentheses? Do they notice that there's multiplication and addition in this number sentence? Yes, Marcelina. What? Order of operation. Tell me more.
The student understands that they have to multiply first, hence why they're in parentheses, and then add.
Yes, so they use parentheses to show what they would do each of. Okay, so she understands that. Does anybody know what property this is? Starts with a D. Distributive, yes. So what I want you to understand is this. A student doesn't need to name the property, but the student is using it to find the answer. You don't teach, there's never going to be a CMAS question that says, what property is illustrated if they show that in this number sentence. They're never going to ask that. Okay, but it's enabling them to understand there are different strategies you can use in order to get the same answer. So do you see how everyone got the same answer of 50, but everyone did it differently? Now, did you notice how I scaffold them? How did I scaffold the strategies in general? Easiest to hardest. Counting each one to multiplication and distributive property. Do you see that? Do you ever want to discount a student's strategy? No. Now watch what I ask next. Did anyone do it differently? Can you come up and show us what you did? So this is what you want to do. You want to walk around and have each student like decide who's going to go first, second, third. Because if you make it a free-for-all, if you go, oh, who wants to come up first? Well, if one of your students comes up, if Katie comes up and she shows her strategy, they're going to be blown away. They're going to be like, oh, I did it wrong. Okay? All right, so what did you do?
Okay, so I noticed that there were 2 different bunches of grapes, and so I drew them out and counted them here. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then this one 1, 2, 3. And then I counted how many groups of 7 there were, and so I wrote down 5 under the 7 to represent 5 groups of 7, and then same thing over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and wrote down 5. And then I did 7 times 5 is 35, and then 5 times 3 is 15. 35 plus 15 is 50.
Very good. Excellent. Thank you. So those are the things that you want to do. What else did you notice I was doing with each person who presented? Revoicing. Explaining their strategy. You will use terminology in there like multiplication. They may say times, like you would say multiplication. Oh, you use multiplication. You use skip counting. Okay? So you want to revoice that because there are some students that come up will be really quiet and they will not everyone's going to hear them. Okay? What does everyone have at their table when we were doing these activities? The base 10 blocks, everyone had base 10 blocks. Everyone had a place value mat. And everyone had paper to show their strategy, and I let you use it anyway. You could have used the base 10 blocks. You could have used the ones to set up and use those, okay, or counters, okay? All right, do you see that?